What a fucking year it's been, eh? I don't know why I said it like that. A lot of stuff sure has changed. This time last year, I had half the subscribers I do now. Okay, so, wow. From reaching Twitch partner to making so many new and amazing friends to becoming a near full-time content creator, almost reaching 100k subs this year, I don't know how to thank you guys enough. Riot, on the other hand, also had one of their most insane years I think we've ever seen. Riot Forge being literally Frankenstein back into existence with tons of new games, multiple sets of TFT with the newest one being the best in its history, several major expansions for Legends of Runeterra, Project L finally seeing the light of day with a new art style and a revamped tag team system, Valorant is still a thing, I think. And of course, how could I forget the absolutely spectacular lore event that captured the hearts and minds of League players and non-League players alike.
Just kidding.
But I know what you guys are really here for, the brand new champions that face-planted themselves onto the Summoner's Rift in 2021. This year, we got 5 new champions: Rell, Viego, Gwen, Akshan, and Vex, bringing our total number of champions in League of Legends to 157 strong. Of course, this could have been 159, but the new marksman and support were both delayed as to not release any Piltover and Zon champions that had nothing to do with Arcane at the same time all eyes were on Arcane. It would just be confusing. But because of that, we only have 5 in total this year, and honestly, guys, that's enough. We're past the 150 champion mark. We don't need to funnel resources into 7 new champions next year when Corky still looks like he comes from a PS2 game. Speaking of old champions, what would a season recap be without reworks? And this year, we got Dr. Mundo.
That's it? What a rip!
Of course, besides full VGUs, we got a few other champion updates as well. A shit ton of visual and texture updates, a full visual overhaul for Caitlyn, and mini reworks for Rammus, Sona, and Taric. I'm pretty sure there was supposed to be a mini rework for Taric this year. I'm not crazy, right? But to me anyway, none of these mini reworks really changed the champion enough to justify talking about them in depth in this video. The other mini rework that happened this year though, yeah, I got some stuff to say about that. Alright, it's time, fellas. Time to take a deep dive into the champions of Season 11. Season 2021, who gives a shit? Rell, released December 10th, 2020. Damage type, non-existent. Role, tank, support, metal bender, pentakill wannabe. Yo, is that Vi League of Legends from the hit series Arcane Netflix on Hulu Paramount Ultra Plus? Well, I really am a big fan of your show, but sadly I must kill you so my team may win this game. Behold, my killing blow attack.
Are you... That's all the damage it did?
Rell. It's been a good while since I think any of us have heard from you. In fact, I think most people forgot you even existed a few weeks after you released, and that really is a shame because I think she's pretty neat. Her lore expanding the Black Rose is really fun, and her gameplay, I'd argue, is a perfect example of what a tank engaged support should be. But herein lie her problems. Every engaged support has a job. Dive the backline, crowd control them, and absorb hits. And sure, Rell does this fantastically, but what differentiates her from Leona, Nautilus, or even Thresh? It's that they actually do damage. I'm actually astonished at just how little damage this champion does. Most engaged supports can technically function outside a bot, but with Rell, it's literally impossible. Which, if you really think about it, makes absolutely no sense thematically. Why is a teenage runaway punk rebel fully chained to having a partner? And while I do like her design, I'm about to ruin Rell for all of you. Remember how we all bashed Redacted for being a champion that Riot clearly came up with a skin for first and a champion design after? Well, I don't know about you, but I always kind of found Rell's armor to be oddly placed. Like, she has this full-ass giant metal horse, and you're telling me that amount of metal doesn't cover her arms, back, or face? It makes no sense. Why is the armor only covering her front torso and her thighs? Makes sense now, doesn't it? Overall, while I do like Rell, she just doesn't come together for me in the end. Metal bending is such a cool and powerful ability in fiction, and yet League's metal bender is relegated to a 0 damage dealing support. Her design works, but I don't think it's exceptional. Her lore is cool, but other recent releases have offered more. And her gameplay is fun, but not as fun as some of the other tank engaged supports.
Oh no. Like fifth grade. Oh, okay, perfect.
No!
I'm sorry, Rell fans. I know you guys have been down bad, but this champion just doesn't interest me. I don't hate her, but I don't love her either. I kind of just don't care. And it clearly isn't just me. Those play rates definitely suggest many others have felt the same way. Riot being one of those others. Unfortunately, Riot's next champion wouldn't be so unpopular. Viego, released January 22nd, 2021. Damage type AD. Role jungler, mid laner, literal man-child. Simp. Here he is. After over a decade of build-up with an entire half-year-long event around him, the legendary Ruined King is finally a champion in League of Legends. And what's the verdict?
I loved you.
Even though I parade myself as an Ivern player, I actually have Mastery 7 on well over a fourth of the league roster.
Weird flex, but okay.
Save for 2 champions, I've played and have experience on every single one. So when a flex player sees a new champion whose whole gimmick is turning into the other champions on the fly, holy shit, that's so fucking cool.
Hi there.
Let me lay out a scenario for you. I'm taking Rift Herald. There's a Zed. Boom. Kill Zed. Use his Shadow Blink combo to get over the wall, doing massive damage to Nasus. Boom. Kill Nasus. With the Jace to lower his movement speed and Spirit Fire to lower his armor. Boom. Kill the Jace. Use the movement speed from Jace's E and Hammer Slam combo to kill the Rift Herald. That's a clean triple kill and a Rift Herald secured. Holy shit, what an adrenaline rush. Viego is just such an incredibly rewarding champion, especially for someone who's played this game for as long as I have and knows how every champion works. I've played Tark before, I swear. Shockingly, I also love his personality. Not because he's edgy, cool, or intimidating, really anything intentional. It's because he's just so fucking pathetic. It's hilarious. All around, he's such a fun champion. How could they fuck it up? Well, here's when we get to the bad stuff. Well, I'm sure a ton of you are upset we didn't get the old withered king we'd all been hoping. I do think making Viego a bratty, impulsive young king not only made his arrogance and selfishness more believable, but it made him out to be quite a subversion of expectations. The thing about subverting expectations, though...
Subverting your expectations is one thing, but subverting your expectations and still have it being satisfying is something completely fucking different. And the whole reason you want to subvert expectations, that the result of the subversion is better than what the original, than something that is expected might be. If you're subverting expectations and it still doesn't land, it's actually fucking worse. It's way worse. It sucks.
While sure, Viego does subvert expectations, it comes off as lazy and uninteresting because 1, we've had a billion back-to-back sexy shirtless anime champions at this point, and 2, because he could have looked like this. Why? And of course, while stealing champions is really fun, like Sylas, it feels like a gimmick slapped on to another champion. In Viego's early days, his build basically made him a worse Master Yi, but the payoff was the ability to turn into other champions and utilize their abilities, making him a very high-risk, high-reward champion. But now he builds bruiser items like Shield Bow, Stair Axe, Sunderer, so all his weaknesses are completely counteracted. He's tanky as hell, does insane damage, and on top of it all, constantly gets free invulnerable healing and ult resets. At this point, it's not even necessary to use the abilities of the stolen champions, as the ult reset on its own is more than often good enough. Well, sure, having to have knowledge of all these champions makes him have a high skill ceiling, the champion itself now has an insanely low skill floor. I mean, just look at this Zed. He landed every single ability, including his ult. I only had W, missed it, and still won because I right-clicked him to death. Very skillful. Overall, I think Viego is the most controversial champion of this year to me. I've played him more than any other new champion that came out this year, and yet I hate his guts. I'm hoping at least that when Stair Axe and Sunder finally get nerfed in 300 years, I'll finally be able to play my favorite little emo scumbag without feeling like a scumbag myself. Gwen, released April 15th, 2021. Damage type AP. Role, top laner, bruiser, not Isolde.
All right, checking out Gwen. Okay, who else?
I really don't have any positives to say about this one. I don't think there's a single thing I like about this champion. I don't like her design. Another generic sexy anime character with stitching tattoos being the only semblance of anything doll related. I don't like her personality. She's bubbly and giddy, but not in the fun way like Nunu, Ivan, or Nico. Instead in the Zoe Lux annoying kind of way. I don't like her lore. The Wild Rift comic proves she was essentially useless and wasn't even needed to progress the story.
You're literally less than useless. My paraplegic grandma could do more than you, god damn it!
I don't like her gameplay. 1 second everything's all fine and dandy, then boom, health bar evaporated. Everything about this champion just feels wrong. Like she doesn't belong. And that sentiment I have is largely carried by her concept art. Every champion has some absolutely insane concept art, from fan favorites like Hand Mundo to Monster Viego from earlier to the wild concepts Set went through. Of course, it's concept art for a reason. The goal is to throw everything in the kitchen sink at the wall and see what sticks. Often that means when they nail down a design, they have to restrain it, taking away a lot of the extra details to make it more generally appealing. Naturally, we should expect this with Gwen too, right? Sure, she's just a generic anime character in a dress, but the concept of a doll brought to life is so vast and interesting. What possible ideas did they come up with her originally? And it was at this point I realized this was what was always intended. Gwen isn't boring because she's another sexy anime character in League of Legends. Gwen is boring because she's a fucking Genshin Impact character in League of Legends.
Genshin Impact.
Who knows though, maybe she has some other concept art out there with wildly different designs. If she does, do let me know, I would love to see it. But as far as we know, this was always the way Gwen was meant to be. The same copy-paste anime character in different outfits.
Disappointed!
If you like her, I'm happy for you. She definitely succeeds at what she's supposed to be, and what she's supposed to be is definitely not for me. Thankfully, I have way more positive things to say about Riot's next release. Dr. Mundo, reworked June 9th, 2021. Damage type, AD. Role, where he fucking pleases. I'm gonna try and keep this one a bit shorter since I already made a 16-minute video about this guy, so if you want to know my older but more extended thoughts, you can find them there. But after a good 6 months have passed, how do I feel about Mundo now? You might have noticed in my Cho'Gath video that I said the past 4 VGUs were all slam dunks, that being Pantheon, Fiddlesticks, Volibear, and yes, Mundo. And that, my dear viewers, is because even though I'm still not overly fond of what they did to his lore or design, everything else about this rework has aged like fine wine to me. His gameplay, his animations, his voice lines, it's all so genuinely funny. I can't help but chuckle every time I play this goofball. Admittedly, while he didn't change very much gameplay-wise, I think it was the right call. He still 100% feels like Mundo, but with a fresh spin. While sure he doesn't heal nearly as much as he used to, the caveat for that sacrifice was a lot more damage. That combined with his E being able to go through minions and the hilarious as fuck CC immunity making him so much more fun and satisfying to play. Come on, Lee Sin, come on, kick me. Kick me. You know you want to, motherfucker. Come on, kick me. Come on, do it. Do it. Do it, motherfucker. Do it. I dare you. Kick me. Kick me, Lee Sin. Kick me. Hey, thanks, man. Well played. So yeah, it took a little bit, but I've grown to absolutely adore the new Mundo. I'll always miss the old Mundo in the same way I'll always miss old Swain, Nunu, or Fiddlesticks. But would I ever trade those old champions for the new ones? Hell no. Although, I might be being a bit biased here, because Mundo's rework was absolute perfection in comparison to the one they would shit out only a few weeks later. Tahm Kench, mini reworked June 23rd, 2021. Damage type, AP. Role, top laner, support, demon, rebenched. We got another Wukong, ladies and gentlemen. A champion rework that in reality barely changed anything, but now they feel like a completely different champion to the point it has basically put me off from playing them ever again. And of all the champions I play, Why did it have to be Thomas? I love this champion. His design, his lore, his personality, his gameplay, everything since day one. I've loved this guy. So what does it say about the rework that out of all the champions I had to play again for this video, the one I had the highest mastery on and playtime was the one I was looking forward to playing the least? Yes, even less than Gwen. Everything just feels wrong. The new W is so unsatisfying to use. Moving his Devour to his R makes the second most fun part of his kit locked behind a 2-minute cooldown. And the most fun and thematically accurate part of his kit doesn't even exist anymore. Riot made an attempt to rework Tahm Kench and take him out of the top lane for good and fully gear him towards being only a support. So what happened?
Stop the cap.
It's hard to describe, but imagine playing a video game at a friend's house. You don't have your gamer peripherals, so you have to use theirs instead. It feels familiar, yet it doesn't feel right. It's near impossible to shake that feeling. That's what the Tahm Kench rework is. Much like Wukong, a champion I once loved, just doesn't feel like the same champion anymore. I do have two positives about it though. One, that while I don't like the outcome, I do genuinely think gearing Tahm Kench towards the support role was the right call. Not only because I think top lane Tahm is toxic for the enemy as well as your ally team, but because thematically it just makes more sense. The other positive is really only a trivial one. It's the particle effects on Devour. When you spit out an ally, there's a bunch of text all over the shield and a little contract comes flying out, implying the ally he ate signed a contract for Tahm Kench to save their life. I think that's just a really fun detail. Speaking of fun and poor game design, I think no champion in League of Legends exemplifies those things more than the one Riot would release next. Akshan, released July 22nd, 2021. Damage type? Yep. Role? Mid laner, marksman, Assassin's Creed enjoyer.
10,000 years!
Akshan, the rogue assassin. I have but 4 words for Riot that perfectly summarize how I feel about this champion.
What were they thinking? What were they thinking? What were they thinking?
What were they thinking?
What were they thinking? What were they thinking?
What were they thinking?
What were they thinking?
What were they thinking?
What were they thinking? What were they thinking? What were they thinking?
What was I thinking?
Why would you make a Lucian mid? Again. On purpose. It just boggles the mind. He does everything. It's like the dev team had an internal contest to see who could come up with the most broken champion mechanics for the champions they were working on, but they were actually all working on the same champion. I'm struggling to comprehend how Riot could make a champion this toxic, unfair, and overloaded. He's so bad. So why can't I stop playing him? I hate playing ADCs. I hate mid lane ADCs even more. But Akshan, he's so fucking fun. It's like I'm living in a time loop. A champion I hate but love at the same time. A champion I like absolutely nothing about. A fantastic rework of a bruiser tank. A mini rework that ruined one of my favorite champions. And now an absolute scumfuck overloaded piece of shit marksman that I enjoy playing anyway because their kit is just that fun. I will credit Akshan for one thing though. Unlike other bastard champions, when you finally catch him out, he pops like a goddamn balloon. The problem is catching him out in the first place, because if you don't catch him out in time, he'll kill you faster than you can say, oh, never mind, you're already dead. But the thing I like about Akshan doesn't just extend to his fun gameplay, it's his personality. Much like Mundo, I don't really care about his design. Slap some chains on him and he could low-key pass as a Shuriman and Silas skin. But his voice lines, dude, holy shit, this character is absolutely carried by his voice lines. He's so goofy and charismatic, I can't help but smile when playing this guy. Even though I technically have more mastery on Viego, I think I have to say, Akshan is probably my favorite new champion that came out this year.
But Nick, you literally made a video on another 2021 champion saying how they were the best one released this year.
Well, yeah, I guess I have to explain myself on that one, huh?
I saw a guy do this in a toothpaste ad once. Ta-da!
Vex. Released September 23rd, 2021. Damage type, AP. Role, mid laner, mage, hot topic enthusiast, millennial. A little while ago, I released a video saying how Vex was a breath of fresh air. Riot's best release in years. Do I still stand by that after giving my praise to Viego and Akshan?
Yep.
I can't help it, dude. I love everything about this champion. Although I'm still a little sad she didn't turn out as the artillery mage we were all promised in favor of a more traditional caster, because God forbid we have more than 3! 4 if you count Kog'Maw. She's simple, easy to learn, and fun to play. Bing bada bop boom pow, it just clicks. And do we even need to talk about her animations? I think Vex might just take the medal for the best walk cycle in League. Just look at her go. Oh, it's so cute. The animations on Shadow are so expressive and fun, and her ability effects are dark, yet bright and lively at the same time. And her voice lines, bro. We've had a lot, and I mean a lot of champions with intentional and unintentional cringe voice lines. But Vex is that perfect sweet spot. Obviously emo and obviously cringe, but in a fun way. Kind of like Viego, she's a little bit pathetic, and it's just funny to listen to.
Before I met the Black Mist, I lived in a world of color and happiness. I was so lost. Welcome to Sad Town. Population, me. Honestly, you taunt yourself just by being you. Way to die, normie.
Of course, at the moment of making this video, she is, well, completely broken, as are most casters, largely because of an item I won't mention by name in order to avoid triggering another 30-minute Scooch rant, but I digress. I adore Vex, and I want to play her more. But unironically and almost poetically, my inner hipster prevents me from playing popular OP champions. Why do you think these guys are my mains and I play them all mid? But I had a blast playing her again for this video, and I cannot wait to do so more in the future. Well, there you have it. 7 total champions this year. Let's take one last loop around to give our appreciation for the season 2021 roster, yeah? The Pentakill Outcast, the Pentakill Savior, the Genshin Impact character, the Shimmer Teaser, the Rebenched Kench, the Mercy Veteran, and the Amumu Replacement. A lot of fun to be had here, but also pain. Lots and lots of pain. And with our 2 new Piltover Ozonite champions coming out soon next year, the Udyr VGU, the potential Cho'Gath VGU and Void event, check out my video if you want to know more about that. Not to mention all the new games, goodies, and shows we'll be seeing from Riot in the upcoming years. I'm really excited for the future of League right now. But as always, these are just my silly personal opinions. Be sure to tell me yours down in the comments. What champions did you love this year? What champions did you hate? And maybe what champions or games from Riot you're looking forward to in Season 12. Season 2022 just sounds fucking stupid. Can we stop that? In any case, have a swell day, fellas. I'll see you in the next video.